How's she going, my son? And welcome back to Warframe. Now, I'm going to show you something else I tend to do when I have a bunch of level 0 things. Or low level. I've actually played this a little bit on my own time last night, so this particular frame and his weapons are a little leveled up. Not too much, though. Is when I have a new frame and I have a bunch of weapons, because there's always going to be a couple of weapons I have, if I've got enough slots for them all, is I like to take them all and just do a whole loadout. Like, start with the frame, give him a primary, give him a secondary, give him a melee weapon. Carrier usually just comes with me anyway because the vacuum cleaner, vacuum cleaner strats, he's pretty damn good. I kind of want the prime one, honestly, just because it doesn't blow up as easily. And, I take a loadout and I do low-level missions because it's actually kind of fun to go back and play it like I'm a newer player again and only having my level 0 or lower not lower, but my low-level weapons to work with instead of having my maxed out stuff that has like double the mod capacity and yada yada yada. Of course, I still use my mods, so I have an edge over an actual new player. But it's still, it's kind of like rolling an alt in an MMO, if you will, because I mean it's kind of what another Warframe is. It's another character for you. So anyway, I was clearing out Mercury. I've done most of it. I don't know if I did the survival there. I have to, just remember, because obviously I've already done these. I did the interception. Exterminate mission's good for camera. Let's do that. This might be a short video. I might just do the one exterminate. Who knows? That's the game plan. So anyway, talking about the weapons for now. Well, actually no, mention the frame first. Vault. One of the starter frames, actually, although my pick was Excalibur, so I didn't get him until a long time later, which is kind of annoying. He's the electricity guy. His whole gimmick is that he's like electric control and whatnot. First ability is pretty much just throw a lightning bolt at people. It's pretty good. Zap. Second ability is speed, although I don't really want to use it because it's a bit of a waste of energy at this level because it doesn't really do enough. But I've seen people mod it a lot, and it kind of turns you into Sonic. That's what the best way to describe it. You just go super fast, not to mention your melee attack speed goes through the roof as well. And it also stacks with the Valkyr's Warcry, which does a similar thing. And, it's something that the loading screen even tells you, so, it's kind of awesome. The electric shield, he can basically plunk down cover wherever you want that you can shoot through, and it does make your guns do bonus electric damage, which is kind of neat. See if I can find a situation to use it. Unfortunately, Volt's polarity for his aura is not the one I want for Energy Siphon, which means I'd have energy regeneration over time. So I gotta actually have to budget my energy a bit, which is interesting. Because I'm so used to running with Enos lately and just being like, lol, I have all the energy ever. Oh crap, wrong button. Okay, that's the one I meant to do. Does it work on both ways? It does. Cool. Kind of makes me think of the bubble shields in Halo or something. Not a game I've played a lot of, but it's one I know. They have the cover bubbles that you can fire out of, but the enemy can't fire into. It's pretty useful. Frost has a similar thing in this game, which is why he's so useful on defense missions. Bubble the objective, and as long as it stays up, people ain't shooting it. It's good times. And the fourth ability, which I actually haven't used yet, because I've only just got it. Blah! Alrighty then. Everything explodes, or gets electrocuted. I can live with that. It says it does something with, if there's near a bunch of the lighting in the room, or the computers and stuff, they'll zap things too. But I don't think I didn't really use them in the best spot there to show that off. See if I can find a... Seriously? I don't know why. I'm overcompensating, is what it is. I'm used to doing the ones where it's like, you have the entire circle there full of things, and they, entire circle full of those things, and every time you get a wrong one, you gotta redo it, and in some missions, you only get 3 chances to do it wrong, and then the whole puzzle resets on you. It's kind of annoying. But anyway, the frames just talked about. Now let's talk about the weapon. Now, I am not the biggest fan of burst fire weapons in this game, for the simple reason that if I want a weapon that shoots bullets, I kind of want it to be a hose. Or a sniper rifle of some kind. You know, slower, but more damage per bullet. Because this game, I find it kind of pays to specialize. But I have to say, playing with this particular gun, the Tiberon, I'm actually a big fan of it. You know, it's kind of like a sniper rifle in the sense that it does a lot of damage per click, but it's just doing so in 3 little packets instead of, you know, one big blam. And, you know, no proper scope. You just kind of eyeball it. But, you know, it's still pretty good. I mean, you can turn off the scopes with the sniper rifles anyway if you want to. So, you know, you could be eyeballing with those anyway, but I'd rather have the scopes. But, yeah, Tiberon. It's an interesting little weapon. Comes with a V built in, so that's always good. I hate how a lot of the weapons later on don't come with any inherent polarities. They're just basically forcing you to use more forma, which pisses me off. Because those things are hard to get unless you're actually spending cash money, which, I mean, I guess is kind of the point. But, or, you know, you get lucky. Because you can get full forma built in-game as a reward from some places, but 9 times out of 10 you get the blueprint for one, and you can only make one of those a day. So, bleh. You know, I want to forma something like 8 times in a day if I want to, and not feel like I've wasted a week's of effort. Nice. Oh, that was a bombard, too. Very good. Okay, so second weapon. The Sonicor. This thing is hilarious. Pretty much a ragdoll gun. Gotta find some people first. Whoop. And swoop. Oh, this gun is amazing. It's just a ragdoll gun. It's just a ragdoll arm cannon. What's not to like? Well, the fact that the range is potato on it. Like, I mean, I'll give you an idea. Bleh. That's as far as it can go. It cannot get past that. I mean, I haven't modded it for any of the range things. I don't know if Sinister Reach, or whatever it's called for the handguns, Ruinous Extension, I think, would work for it. I know something could make the explosion radius bigger, I just don't remember what that is. But base, you know, I'm only running more damage at the moment, so it doesn't have any, whatchamajigger. It doesn't have any additional range or anything other than the base stats. So it's a pretty short range weapon. But goddamn if it isn't hilarious. And effective, because, I mean, a ragdolled enemy... Oh, well, he's instantly killed. But a ragdolled enemy that manages to survive is susceptible to being... Well, that just got slashed, but... If I get this to work... There we go. Oh, no, it didn't get him. Ah. Game, come on, work with me here. I'm trying to do a thing for YouTube. Okay, well, that one just died. The point I'm getting at is if you ragdoll an enemy and you get close enough to them with a melee weapon, you can instantly, well, not instantly kill them, but you can do a lot of damage to them. Typically instantly killing most enemies. Because it's finisher damage, and it's, you know, ignores armor, and yada yada yada. Finisher damage, ignores armor, big multiplier, good times to be had by all. Except the poor bastard on the receiving end of it. Okay. So, Sonicor. Whoop. Dual Ether. The dual sword weapons aren't loved by the community because their stances are apparently bad. I don't mind them, to be honest, even if it does look a little goofy, that first couple of swings. But the dual ether, I love the lore on the ether weapons. They're like microfilament swords, you know, because I mean, look at these things. These are not thick swords. These are tiny-ass slashing weapons. But the fluff on them is that the ether weapons were used by Tenno allies to cleanse, you know, air quotes, you know, basically mercy kill infested allies because it cuts them so quickly they don't feel it. And while it doesn't quite live up to that in gameplay, they're still pretty good weapons. Plus, the ether swords, if I remember reading it on the wiki correctly, always stagger people on hit. Well, he was in like an armored animation, but basically, if they're not blocking the stagger in some way, this thing will stagger them. So, it's a crowd control kind of weapon. Handy for a frame that's squishier but wants to get up in some enemies' business with melee. Because some enemies are more susceptible to melee than others. Like, not in like a Pokemon type damage weakness kind of thing. But, it's like this enemy doesn't fire as well when something is right in its face. Like most sniper enemies. Because, like, they can't aim a shot at something's right in front of them because they're always scoped in, basically. So any shot they do hit will hit, but that's a wonderful statement. But any shot they miss will go completely wide because pinpoint accuracy when a target is that close is a little tricky unless you're spraying bullets. And the Grineer don't have them, thankfully, but the Corpus 7 enemy, the Nullifier, it's basically a sniper enemy, but it also has this big anti-power bubble that you either have to shoot down with concentrated fire because it has like damage gating, so like big single target weapons don't do a whole lot to it and are kind of a waste of time, or get in the bubble and stab the motherfucker in the face. Tends to be my solution to it. Although it's annoying if you're running a frame that relies on buffs, because then you're like, oh, my buffs fell off. Like if I had speed running on Vault right now. Well, I should try that while I'm thinking about it. Not that noticeable a difference yet, because the ability isn't leveled up because the frame isn't maxed out, so it's not getting its full modifier. Plus, I'm pretty sure I don't have the mods on it that actually make it better. I'd have to double check on the wiki, and I don't want to be doing that in the middle of a video. That's unprofessional. I mean, unless I did a cut, but yeah. But anyway, you get the kind of idea of what I do with,
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Yeah, you get to see what I do with a Lowbie frame and some Lowbie weapons. This is kind of more efficient in a way, because once you get them all to 30, you get 3 lots of mastery experience for the 3 weapons, and then the larger amount for maxing out a new Warframe. Because maxing out the Warframes gives you the most, but there's less of them in the game, obviously, than the weapons. And I mean, I know you could do power leveling on the particular map that's Draco, I think it's called on Ceres. It's the one where the enemies are like the highest you can possibly get before you get into like the endless mission types. And, there's tons of them because there's going to usually be 4 people in the mission. And you just mow them down in groups and get lots of experience that way. I mean, you could also stealth run I couldn't do it with this gun, I don't think, but you could stealth run if you're leveling a melee weapon and get a lot of experience that way because of the multipliers. But I like leveling up like this because it gives me a chance to really learn the loadout, basically. I can actually get to learn the full loadout of the character and, learn the abilities of the frame, learn the quirks of the weapons before, I'm throwing on like 7,000 different mods on them that completely change them anyway. Or, or like tinker with, or I learn what I need to mod by, leveling with the weapon and finding out, this thing takes a while to reload, or, oh man, this thing is really inaccurate. I can find the problems and then and then know what to do to fix them. Also, I just wanted to point out, this weapon, the Tiberon, has a freaking amazing set of coloring options. Like, I mean, look at this. I just did the thing where you can copy the colors of your Warframe onto your weapon, so like they just match up. Ugh, too many people talking in your ear in this game. But this weapon looks like it has a solid color when you first get it. Like, actually, I'll show you. Go for the default color. See? It looks like it's just a solid color. I mean, now that I know they're there, I can kind of see the little perforations on them and such. But then, I copy Warframe colors and bam, it has this sick paint job where the weapon kind of looks like it's flowing water and stuff. I mean, that's really cool. Plus, I kind of wish you could use the bayonet on it. Because, it's there, but you never use it because, if you use your quick melee, you whip out your melee weapon. But, I don't know. I think it's a good looking weapon, and it's one of the few burst fire weapons I actually like. So I might actually level this up. Who knows? But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Twitter, Tumblr, and subscription are in the description as usual. Subscription button on screen somewhere as well. More random Warframe content. Don't expect this to be too frequent, but I kind of wanted to just show off the leveling and alt approach I like to do with some new weapons sometimes, and the Sonicor personally, because this thing's hilarious. Ragdoll arm cannon. This thing is amazing. Even if it kind of looks like you have a brick attached to your arm, because it is not an elegant looking weapon at all. The Corpus are purely functionality. As you can tell, this is a Corpus weapon. They are functionality over fashion every day of the week, and I don't mind that, because they can make some ridiculously amazing weapons. Although, funnily enough, a lot of their weapons are really effective against themselves, because this thing does impact damage, and it has a good slot for putting in cold damage, which is another thing that's effective against their shields. Why would they make a weapon so effective against themselves? Well, because like the Grineer, they know what's going up. They make very few weapons that are actually effective against themselves. Because like they make weapons that do impact damage to fight the Corpus. They do make weapons that do slash damage to fight the Tenno and the Infested. They make like... well, they did make a radiation weapon, but that only affects like the really high level Grineer, and it's also really effective against the Tenno, because we share the same armor type alloy. So it's... it's an interesting quirk that the Corpus are just... I guess the Corpus are just willing to innovate for the sake of innovation, regardless of personal peril. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Again, the Spleel, Twitter, Tumblr subscription in the description, all that jazz. Subscription somewhere on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and ciao for now.